Scary, scary Sunday. Guess who's back? It's this guy, Sammy the Man McIntyre. We are back with Moving the Chains podcast. How are we doing, everybody? We got a lot to talk about today. The two playoff games that happened last night. Whoa. I mean, that was crazy. Congrats to the Denver Broncos for moving on. The Buffalo Bills keep just finding ways to lose and just slipping the banana peel when it really counts. I'll dive into that. My guy, Sammy, the Man Darnold, last night, what an absolute belt-to-ass, stone-cold stunner edition of a beatdown that was on the 49ers. I want to touch on that, too. And then I want to touch on Kevin Stefanski, but I think I'll do that tomorrow because he did get the job last night with the Atlanta Falcons, which I thought was a really good hire, smart, efficient, Ivy League guy, kind of exactly what Atlanta needs. So I'll touch on that tomorrow. I'll give you a sneak preview. We got two other games today. Texans, Patriots at 3:30. And we got Rams, Bears in Chicago at 6:30 tonight. So we got to dive into that. And I'll dive into those two games tomorrow. But the two games we want to touch on today, we have Bills, Broncos, 49ers, Seahawks. Wow. So let me start with this. I predicted that game to be 24-21 Buffalo. It almost was like that until it wasn't. And I want to start with the Buffalo side of things. So, listen, Josh Allen's going to get a lot of heat, and he deserves all the blunt of the blame because he played like awful yesterday and played terrible. I mean, he played like Brett Favre meets Peyton Manning or Jameis Winston when it really mattered yesterday. And I've been the biggest Josh Allen fan. I've been a big fan of his, and I still contend. As I went on my walk this morning in 10-degree weather, it's cold as hell. And I was driving around, getting Smoothie King, trying to just get thoughts going through my head. I watched the highlights 6:30 this morning. I've been up and at it. And I'm watching that game, and I'm going, he might be the greatest quarterback, talent-wise, I've ever seen. But then he has moments where he is Brett Favre, and I said that, I think, a couple years ago after that playoff game against Pittsburgh and Buffalo. He is Brett Favre with more mobility. He really is. And I've defended him a lot. I think he's one of the best players of my lifetime. But yesterday was on him completely. And I'm not sure that's going to stick with him for a while. It is. No question about it in my mind. Having said that, though, I don't know if Buffalo's ever going to have that chance again to get back and to win a game. And I know they're 0-7 now in the playoffs with the overtime rules and that, so on and so forth. You can bitch all day about that. Pass interference calls, blah, blah, blah. Here's all I know. He terminated it 5 times over and turned it over. You're not winning football games that way. Stupid shit football was the game yesterday for the Bills in Denver in that altitude. And it comes back again. I feel like I'm repeating this time in and time out again. Why were the Bills not prepared yesterday? Once again, the Buffalo Bills should have came out guns a-blazing in that first half. And they were limping. And I get they were just on the road. Been there, done that. You got to travel to Jacksonville and go cross country. I got all that. But you got to be better prepared, Sean McDermott. This is on you. Now, Josh Allen played shitty. I just mentioned that off the top. And he did. But this falls on the head coach. Why the hell? I've been watching the Bills for a while now. Why is it every time I look up, the Bills are down 14-0 like they were to the Dolphins this year or the Falcons? Why? You lost to the Texans too, by the way, which we don't mention that. Why? Because this Buffalo team, I got to be honest, ain't that great. They're only great because of one human being who I just mentioned, Josh fucking Allen. That's it. He's 90% of their offense, which is crazy to think. And I blame this solely, and I got to say this right now, Sean McDermott, bye. I'm on the phone. I'm the owner, Terry Pacula, or whatever the guy's name is. I'm on the phone firing both those guys. And you start over. Because you cannot, and I mean this sincerely. I said this last week. He had to win that game or else he was fired. Today is a fireable offense. I get Josh Allen turned over 5 times. I got all that, and we can defend him. Whatever. Blind witnesses, whatever. I'm not putting that on him. I'm not putting the pom-poms out. No, he played like shit. And he's a grown-ass man. He can take blame for that. And he's been one of the best players in the league. He's got his faults like everybody else. And people are going to say, well, is he Turvert? Is he this? I don't know. Josh Allen's won playoff games. He's won some. He hasn't won a lot, but he's won some. And I get some people could say, well, he's overrated, less accurate Big Ben. That all can be true, and whatever. My own opinion of the guy is he's one of the best quarterbacks in my lifetime. He is. We all thought Aaron Rodgers was. He only got one ring. This is a team game, man. Football's a team game. This is not basketball where in the NBA where you need a few guys you can go win a chip. Now, you got to have everybody together. And the Buffalo Bills, to me, are disjointed. This coach is a joke. I've been screaming this for 3 years. And my brother keeps defending him. I can't defend him anymore. You've had Josh fucking Allen for 3 years. For 7. And you have not done enough. There's no excuse for this. And oh, by the way, you really think you're close to New England's level? You're not. New England's got a better roster than you. And you had 7 years to prove it, and yet again, you never did nothing with it. You had a chance this year at the trade deadline to go get Jacoby Myers. What'd you do? Sat back. It's not good enough, Buffalo. It's not good enough. You have to do more. And if I'm disgusted this morning if I'm a Buffalo Bill fan, because you had that game once again, and you pissed it down your leg. Because your coach comes in unprepared, asshole, and everything else in between. Shame on you, because you're wasting this guy's prime. And I don't think he's got many years left. Because like Big Ben, like Cam, these hyper-athletic guys that are big dudes, take those hits, and yeah, at some point, rubber's going to meet the road. Fuck around, you're going to find out. So Buffalo is just, they disappointed me. And I get it. They've kind of slipped on a banana peel. They're like the Chargers or the Vikings. I understand that. But there's no excuse. You've had one of the best players in the league at his position in Josh Allen. And you haven't got it done. There's no excuse. This year was the year. No Mahomes, no Burrow, no Lamar. You didn't have to play the Chargers. That would have been a struggle. Possibly, probably not. I'm disappointed in them this day. If I'm a Bill fan, I'm disgusted. I want Sean McDermott gone. I want Brandon Beane gone. We keep playing this. He plays the victim. Dude, you haven't done enough with this roster. This defense is flat. They're slow. They're old. That's on the GM, too. You're asking, this is Dan Marino 2.0 or John Elway, who people say is the modern-day John Elway, which is Josh Allen. So you got to do better, Buffalo. It's time to move on from Sean McDermott, Mr. 9/11 guy, Mr. Taliban. I'm not going to get into that. But it's time to move on. You've had this guy for 7 years. You have not gotten it done. Point blank, end of story. I don't want to hear excuses. So I would fire McDermott today. I would fire Brandon Beane today. I start over. And maybe you promote Joe Brady as coach. That's what I would do. Because you can't keep telling me, if you really think you want to run it back with this crew again, I wouldn't do it. This team's not good enough. They're not good enough. They're too small on the defensive side of the ball. They're getting gashed. I mean, why didn't they lean on James Cook more? Sometimes with these coordinators, that's like malpractice. You're in the game. James Cook shredded Denver for 183 yards yesterday. 183. And you still, I mean, I don't know. I'm annoyed because I was really becoming a true Bronco hater yesterday. Just rooting like, please, Denver, lose. And I was wrong. And I just was very disgusted with Buffalo most of that game. I was kind of in and out. Then I went back and watched the highlights this morning. As I mentioned, I've been up since 6:30. Side note. And I'm just disgusted. Like, why does this keep happening? Over and over and over again. Josh Allen should be pissed. Now, he's to blame for his performance. But why am I carrying this franchise? Help me, dude. Put better pieces around me. I just think they've done a shitty job with Josh Allen. I love the guy. And he's one of the best quarterback talents I've ever seen. But shame on the Bills. That's a bad loss, and I don't know if it's gonna stick with me for a couple days. And I just feel bad for the kid because he's one of the best talents, like Marino, like Elway, like Rodgers, like Favre, and nothing to show for it. And it's a shame. So that's all I got on the Bills side of things. But I just that's a gut wrench today. Okay, so on the Broncos side of things, congratulations, you won. However, there's a caveat. Bo Nix is out for the year. Now, let's flip it positively with Denver. You got 4 takeaways, 4 sacks, a couple forced fumbles, 5 turnovers from Josh Allen. But it let me scratch my head why that wasn't more of a blowout. Because Denver, now give Buffalo credit, they fought back, that's fine. But you had that game in the bag. And this is why I have some trepidations on Bo Nix. I did see a stat today, 7,500 passing yards, 750-plus rushing yards, in a playoff limit for his 3rd career NFL season. Only one guy in history has done that, and that's Bo Nix. So I want to get that out of the way. Congrats to him. And it's a shame that he's not going to be playing in the AFC Championship game at home in his home stadium against Drake May or C.J. Stroud, whoever wins today's game, last game of the AFC playoffs, to determine the AFC Championship game. But having said that, I still was not impressed by Denver yesterday. I got to be honest, their defense, it's kind of a sieve right now. They gave up 183 yards. This felt like old Denver Broncos to me, where the Raiders, when they had Darren McFadden just run it down their damn throat, couldn't do a damn thing about it. That concerns me. They got to tighten that up. I will say, though, having Hufanga back and Dre Greenlaw helps a ton. They bring physicality to that downhill, running off speed. You see it. And you see the team speed on Denver. The pass rush, the back end, it's fantastic, and I love it. And I do. But Bo Nix was all over the map yesterday. I couldn't figure out what he was. Was he John Elway, or was he like a bum? He was all over the map in the second half. If you start off so hot. And this is my knock on these quarterbacks, mainly Caleb and mainly Bo Nix. You would just frustrate the hell out of you as a coach. Like, can you play more consistent? Why are we doing all this dramatics? You know, like, I get that's how NFL games are. I got it. But it just would frustrate the hell out of me. Like, why are we, like, sputtering out of control here? Like, get on the tracks. And I just, when I watch the Broncos, this offense does that. Now, granted, their defense is well suitable enough to carry the water, but you got to be better. And you got to get your completion percentage up. Why is it mid-60s? Like, I don't know. So that's my only knock on Denver. I will say it's going to be a fun AFC Championship game. If it's Houston and them, watch out. That's going to be a fun game. New England, it feels like 26-15 again. It just lining up that way. And it is, the NFL playoffs are fine without Mahomes, Allen, or Mahomes, Lamar, and Burrow. It'd be great if they were in it. But I'm not going to sit here and complain that the game was rigged. Stop. Buffalo deserved to lose that game. That was more about Buffalo fucking it up than Denver winning it. Now, Denver's a really good team. They've been good all year long. I'm not denying that. But yesterday was more about Buffalo choking, like it is a lot under this regime, than it is the Broncos. So I want to give a shout out to my brother, Jackson McIntyre. His Broncos are going to the AFC Championship game. Crazy what happens. Speaking of something, crazy what happens when everybody says these rebuilds are hard. No, it's only twofold. You get the head coach and the quarterback right. Those align, rocket ship. D'Amico Ryans, bad, rocket ship. Bryce Young, Panthers, bad, got 8 wins, whatever, put an asterisk with it, but got to the playoffs. And in Denver, Bo Nix, Sean Payton, playoffs. It's a championship game. 3 years removed from being 5-12 with that atrocity of a contract they gave Russell Wilson. It just goes to show you, man, and I'm hoping my Raiders can get it right. Get Joe Brady, get one of these offensive guys, and let's rock and roll and start this thing. So, that is what I got for that game. To illustrate off what I said, Buffalo, tough gut-wrenching loss. Denver did eventually end up covering that game. Denver by 1.5, 33-30. So they did cover that. If you guys are in the betting space, congratulations. And for the bets for Buffalo, and then for Denver, you did cover. You did win, But it came with a cost because Bo Nix is done for the year, which is unfortunate because he was playing really, really well in that game. And the last game I want to touch on was how about those Seattle Seahawks yesterday. 12s were rocking, 12s were rolling. The great first half of the game. They get a kickoff return by Raheem Shaheed, which, by the way, might be one of the best transactions that the Seahawks have made in a long, long time. Reminds me of when they got Percy Harvin. If anybody remembers, old heads, or, people in my age group. They got Percy Harvin, bang. They didn't need him for a lot of shit. Do it when it matters most, and they needed him last night. And that was an absolute belt-ass beatdown. Avalanche of Seahawks coming all forces. And I'm just so happy for Sammy Darnold. In Minnesota, you're stupid. So I'm looking at this. So Sammy Darnold, he's going to become the first quarterback out of that whole class to go to the Super Bowl. And by the way, anybody that says same Darnold, stop it, Skip Bayless. I know who you are. Stop it. He's a great quarterback. He's been good all year long. Yeah, does he throw interceptions? Yes. Do you offset that with how many touchdowns? 30? Cool. I'll take it. Good talk. I'm for that. I'm for aggressive. Down the field. Throw the ball down the field. These guys with these 39-4, yeah, it's great and shit. Throw the ball down the field. Get picked. Screw up a little bit. Throw picks. That's what I'm for. So, it just goes to show Minnesota really botched the pooch on that. 49ers are eliminated. Panthers eliminated. Vikings and Jets both missed the playoffs. So, note to self. Note to teams. Don't do that. When you got an elite quarterback in the building who had one good year, keep him. Try and do everything you can. If not, move on. But that's what Minnesota is dealing with right now. And it was bad. But last night, to me, with Seattle thumping, and I mean belt to ass, physical domination with the 49ers, this is more about San Francisco in their future more than it is Seattle. And I'll touch on Seattle in a second. But the Niners, to me, have overachieved this year. And I give Kyle Shanahan and his staff a ton, and I mean a ton of credit. Without Brandon Ayuk, he went AWOL, driving his Porsche 140 damn miles an hour. Who knows what's going on in his head? He's gone AWOL, berserk. Still, they could regret that contract in a second. It was crazy at the time, giving a guy who only had 75 catches that kind of money, but it is what it is. They live and die with that decision. You also have a bunch of other guys that were hurt this year, Bosa's and the Warners and all that. And Brock Purdy was out most of the year. Mac Jones did really well. But we got to be honest. This Kyle Shanahan offense is fun to watch. Now, last night, the only play call I didn't like was when he tried the Rams with the greatest show on turf and they did the triple option. If any remember seeing that clip where they handed it to Azakim, or they handed it to Marshall Faulk, and then he flipped it to Azakim, and he went to the house. This was back in 2000 or 99 or whatever it was for the greatest show on turf. So having said that, I do believe San Francisco's going to be good next year. They get their guys back. But Kyle Shanahan, that kind of lingers with you. Is this window closed for this core of players? George Kittle didn't play, that hurt a lot. Trent Williams is old. The Niners, you got Warner and Bosa. They're expensive and old. Got to add a lot of depth. Now, having said that, Ricky Pearsall developed a lot. DeMarcus Robinson's made plays. Christian McCaffrey's still a stud. Brock Purdy has really impressed me. He's so great upstairs. And that's the one thing with quarterback. It's 75% up here. That's why I'm really judgmental of these quarterbacks with immaturity and dumbassery, is because you got to be upstairs cognitively great. Physical stuff's great. I see it all the time. I'm a sucker for it. But you got to have upstairs 75% mental, man. So it's mind over matter, and Brock Purdy's just phenomenal. And last night, I don't blame him entirely. He's running for his life last night. This is the only knock I have with the Shanahan tree. Mainly with Kyle, not everybody else. For some reason, he just doesn't value offensive linemen. I don't know why. It's hard to find them, because whenever they're drafting, they're usually bottom of the first. Last couple of years, they've been to Super Bowls, NFC Championship games. So that I understand. Having said that, moving forward, Niners got to invest in some offensive line. Go get a free agent or something. Because this offensive line, and listen, their play calling and their design is fantastic. I love watching Shanahan offense. It's fun, it's clever, it's sweet, it's smooth, it's slick, it's awesome. But the downside to that is when that run game is not working and you're not getting the motion, the eye candy, everything flowing like this, then it's a problem. And they can't do drop back. So I really think, they got to go get offensive line in the draft. It's a good year for it. But this was, to me, they were going to meet rubber meets the road at some point, and last night was that night. And this is not to reflect that they're a bum. He's not a bum. He's not a bad coach. He's like the Andy Reid of the NFC, when Andy Reid, before he got to the Super Bowl and before he broke through that door. And I believe he will win one at some point. Maybe he won't, but I believe he will. So that's just my feeling on that. And San Francisco, congratulations. I know, bang, bang, Niner gang. All the Raider fans are trolling, and I am too. But I'd rather be the San Francisco 49ers most of the time than the Raiders right now in terms of getting the Super Bowls and playoffs. So something's got to give. But I want to touch on the Seattle Seahawks because my guy, Sammy, the man Darnold, came through last night making big play throws. I was a fan last night of this kid, and he is impressive. I've been a fan of his since the Jets and USC, so I've been one of his big supporters from the jump, and he's elite. Stop it with this. He didn't have to do shit last night. Carried by the defense, and I don't care. He made enough plays to get conversions, and that had to win him the game last night. It doesn't matter. I've seen Sammy carry this team this year with, a shootout with Baker Mayfield. He's balling out. Yes, he throws picks. I'm for that. I like aggressive, down-the-field shots. Who cares? Brett Favre led the league in picks sometimes. How many touchdowns you throw? 32 touchdowns, 13 picks? Give me that all day long. 41-16, who cares? Stafford led the league in picks, and they won the Super Bowl. Who gives a rip? So I'm for guys taking shots down the field, bombs away. I'm for that. Now, there's a time and a place for that, but last night was the time for Sammy to just check it down and take what he had. So I'm happy for him. I'm so happy for Sam Darnold. He got a good situation. Last 2 years, he's showing you when he's got the right support system, which a lot of quarterbacks need, he's awesome. Mahomes is great. How would he be without Andy Reid? Probably not as great. He'd still be good, but not as great. So Mike Holmgren needed Brett Favre. Brett Favre needed that kingmaker. Brian Daboll, Josh Allen. So that kind of synergy works. And Seattle, man, this feels like Legion of Boom again. I'm not saying they are, because that's one of the best defenses of all time in my lifetime. But their team speed, the way they fly around. I mean, Nick Imawari looks like Cam Chancellor 2.0, which I said for the record, a lot of these teams, when they drafted last year, guys coming from other teams with those kind of prototypes, Seattle had that. They had Cam Chancellor for a long time. Nick Imawari reminds me of him. Not saying he is, probably a better, better like safety in terms of ball skills and range and can move. But the way he comes off the ball, he's fast, he's physical, that all translates. And then I'm watching this run game just absolutely obliterate the Niners' point of attack. They were the bullies last night on the block, not San Francisco, because usually it's the other way around. And they beat the shit out of them. They bullied them last night for 3 hours. So, I'm telling you, man, Seattle is not a team I want to play. And if it's Seattle and if it's Houston in the Super Bowl, watch out. That is going to be an absolute bludgeon of a game. And sign me up for it. I'm a sucker for that. I'm a sucker for violence and intensity and ruthless aggression. I'm all for that. And if they have that Super Bowl, I'm all for it. Let's go. Because the way it looks right now, it could be Seattle, it could be Houston, or it could be Seattle, New England again. Just hopefully better outcome for Seattle. So I'm excited. And I'm so proud of Sam Darnold. He made me a proud fan last night. That was a beatdown. I thought I did pick it 24-20 Seattle, but I didn't expect it to be that. So Seattle moves on. San Francisco goes home. But give San Francisco credit, fighting, battling all year long. They deserve some of their flowers. And I would give Kyle Shanahan Coach of the Year. If I had an award. I'm not a big awards guy, but if that would be the award, I would give it to him. So that's all I got for you guys today. A couple hours from now, we got Texans, Patriots. We got Rams, Bears, cold weather, you name it. We got football day long. National championship game tomorrow. We're getting to the meat of it, baby. We're going to finish this up strong. So hope you guys are doing well. Have a great, spooky, scary Sunday. Adios. Godspeed.